Hello everyone. I've had a request quite a few times on how to get into hotshotting, or pretty much how do you run a hotshot business? How do you get into it? Well, guys, I got crappy news for you. Hotshotting businesses, in my books, on average 3 times as hard as the trucking business, the full-blown semi-trucking business. Because I run both. I started out with big rigs. And the reason hotshotting is bad news is because it's so hard, and because you're so narrow in the area that I work with. I work under 26,000 pounds most of my trucks. I got one, and then I got another guy with his own. 2 trucks tops, compared to 6 trucks that are under 26, so 2 over and 6 under. So that's quite the lopsided ratio, and if it were up to me, I would even have those 2 dualies. But customers, they come in at a higher weight, just a hair, and you already can't take it. They're not going to stick around long. That's just the nature of the beast. So you got to take care of them. Now, as far as I'll be talking about hotshotting 26 and under, meaning gross vehicle weight rating 26 and under. You don't need prorates, you don't need a CDL. As long as your gross vehicle weight rating doesn't exceed 26 and 1, and your actual physical, when you pull your truck, trailer, load, everything on the scale doesn't exceed 26,000, you don't need a CDL. But anyways, how did I get into it is what I'm going to share with you guys. I started a big rig company. My dad had a truck. He kept getting ripped off by a local company. He'd get 3-4 rates per load, meaning when they offer him the load, it's 1 rate. When he picks it up, it's a whole different rate. And then when he's all halfway down to the destination, it's a 3rd rate. And he came home one day. He was furious. He was angry. And I came home the same day, and I lost my contract being a courier for Washington Trust Bank. It's a bank I found out really young. Every check needs to go back to the main bank. So I was the guy driving around Washington with a little Honda Civic delivering their checks. 90% of that courier service, what it was. And then little things tacked onto it. And I was building a route. And then the problem is I was only 18 at the time, and people found out how young I was, the guy at the bank. And he freaked out. He's like, if anyone asks you how young, your age, don't tell them, tell them to mind their own. I had pretty much a key to the safe in downtown, one of our main stores. Well, banks, store banks, whatever, you get the point. And so when they found out, I think it was an insurance issue, and he overlooked the age. Because, at age 18, who has their crap together, I had a car, I had like a Dodge Caravan that was more like a cargo van for me, but it was used as a mini. I had my ducks in a row, at age 18, kid's got all his crap together. You don't really think he's 18, you think he's about 20-something, early 20s, And I get that comment all the time, the way I handle myself. People get the impression that I'm much older, but I'm not. I'm still a young kid. Anyways, let's not get off the subject here. My dad came home angry one day. I offered him to join me in the company. He said, okay. I told him, give me a month so I could open the rest of the permits and the rest of the stuff I need for a legitimate trucking company. Courier service needs minor. Trucking companies needs more on the heavier side of permits and other issues. So 2 months later, I got my dad on board. He was the first guy I started loading. Then a month later, I got my big rig. Started loading my own rig. Well, long haul is you load them, and you could squeeze a day in or 2 to take care of things. So let's say if he's going from Washington to Midwest, he has 3-4 days to drive. And if you find the same day a load back for that truck, well, you don't really have a whole lot to do. And I personally really love the Dodge Rams and their the whole gooseneck thing. As a kid, I'd find things to hook up to my little play trucks and haul them around, just like my kid does nowadays. And I got me a 99 6-speed Cummins. And I loved it. I rented my buddy's trailer, and because I had access and all the legal stuff to get the loads on my trailer in, you know, I'll do a load here and there, and I absolutely loved it. But here's the catch. Hauling Hotshot, the kind of Hotshot that I'm into right now, you're really slimmed down on your load options, because, I mean, realistically, all you could haul, and I'm ballpark, you know, truck, trailer combination really varies how heavy you go, but you could really haul up to 11,000 pounds. You know, if you got the older equipment, you could probably do about 12, 5, 13. You got the really new stuff, well, the newer they are for some reason, they feel like a tin can, but they're still heavier. You know, if you ever, a weird example, but if you ever knock on the fender like my 99 or like my 14, oh my god, I don't know if half the metal's there as far as body parts go. Well, anyways, so that's how I started Hotshot. And I kept getting guys saying, hey dude, you should buy a truck, I'd like to drive for you, I'd like to drive for you. It's like, dude, how am I gonna do that? I can't even keep myself decently busy, you know, I'm struggling to get myself going. So slowly but surely, you know, I started working on this and that, and I started picking up brokers. I think that's what I did. They knew that I do specifically this lightweight stuff, and I wouldn't charge them like a big rig. And it was good for me, and it was good for them. And then I picked up consistency, you know. My brother-in-law came knocking on the door saying, hey, I'd like to do this for you. So that's when I went out and bought my own trailer, handed them the keys to my 99, said, let's do this. So I started loading them, and things didn't go according to plan. Not as badly on my end as his. You know, he was under the impression that there's more in the, you know, so he got out of it, and then he got back into it, you know, and I was there. I mean, I had nowhere to go. I have the equipment, you know. I wasn't really bothered by it, but I mean, it was a question mark. And then the guy decides to buy his own truck, my brother-in-law. So he went out, got his own truck, started pulling my trailer. I went out and bought myself another trailer. So rented it for me. So he did that for a little while. Then he got out of that, and then joined me in town at the shop, and off we went on that. But as far as Hotshot, you know, it was very inconsistent. My brother-in-law got in, got in, and it was tough. You know, it was tough because the connections weren't there as much as they were supposed to be. Not as much as they're supposed to be, as much as you need them to be. Let me slow down. Hope I'm not passing undercover here. So this is like the third year. This is the third year of doing this. I mean, I was in full throttling it, but you know, I was out always on the lookout, looking for loads and trying to hook up with people. And I mean, I'm underlining that the third freaking year, and it was still inconsistent. That's where my brother-in-law was coming in and out. Yeah, let me change lanes real quick. And because I had, you know, when my brother-in-law for sure said, hey, I'm done with this. At this point, I have 2 trailers, right? So I'm like, okay, let's find someone else. So didn't take much. A guy came knocking, went for a drive. He's like, oh no, this ain't for me. Then I got another guy behind the wheel. He went driving, and he really liked it. You know, the guy didn't need much money. He enjoyed driving it, and he really liked it. Shortly after, my head gasket went on my 99, and I'm like, hey, if you're for real, you know, obviously this 99 isn't going to work for you for every single day and whatnot. So I went out and bought him a brand new truck. That guy drove for a little bit, then he went working for his buddy doing Hotshot, which I helped get into it. I really hate saying this, guys, but you know, helping out people with business, specifically this situation, it sucks, you know, because I got stuff thrown my way, you know. Oh, this company sucks and this and that. It's like, dude, I helped you get into this. Quit the nonsense. If something doesn't make sense, to keep to yourself, out of respect for someone that helped you get in this, you know. So ever since that, I was like, you want to get into Hotshot? Great, get into it. I don't care to help anymore. People are just, they don't realize what you had to go through to get where you are and what kind of valid information you're providing them with. Okay, I'm gonna have to stop right here. There's a cop pulling up. Anyways, guys, as I was saying, that sucks, you know. I helped the guy out, he wasn't happy, but nevertheless, move on. You know, this is on my 4th year. I'm already, you know, scrambling. This guy, he wasn't complaining, but he was sitting around more than I wanted him to. And I mean, But this time, it wasn't just me dispatching, or actually, I got out of dispatching completely, and I already had guys hired to do the dispatching for me, and it was just like, it was very stressful, 4 years in the business, and I'm still scraping the barrel. I'm still barely getting by as far as loads go. Guys, don't worry, I'll get into more detailed stuff. I'm running, sharing my story with you, and then I'll go back to saying what you need to get into this. About on the 6th, probably last year, they got okay, and then I'm on the 7th year now of doing this whole shenanigans. Yes, maybe the first 3 years I was at 100%, but about third, fourth year, it got to 100%. I had truck payments specifically for this Hotshot. Beforehand it was just $6,000 trailer and a paid off truck. No big deal. If it sits, it sits, right? So yeah, that's how that goes. Now rewind the tape. How do you get into Hotshot? Simple. You buy a truck and you buy a trailer and you go to town. Main question: how profitable is it? I'm very happy. It's very profitable. Compared to big rigs, you put very little down in what you get out of it. How consistent is it? Like crap. It is like crap. It's very inconsistent. Only way you can make it consistent is with years, and guys get to hear about you and they start calling you directly. We get requests specifically for us through brokers. This is not even a customer. This is a broker. A customer telling a broker, hey, we want so-and-so to come pick up this and haul it for us. We go through brokers and customers that will only go through us as far as our area. And thankfully, I'm very thankful to loyal guys like that. They're solid people. They do it good. They do us good, and we do them good. Sometimes we get oddball phone calls. End of the work day or 6 o'clock into the work. 6 o'clock p.m. and the work day's long gone. They're calling us, hey, we really need this move. That's when you don't gouge your customer. You say, okay, no problem. Are you gonna be alright if I throw another 50 on top of the bill just for? This is very unplanned and I don't know where it's going to get me into. Unlike if they call you 2-3 days ahead, you can plan stuff. At least not even that. Sometimes they call you a week ahead, but on average we would like to have 2-3 days, but for a bare minimum, a day ahead. So you can plan stuff, day or back or whatever. You could work ahead instead of the guy calling you saying, dude, I've been stuck here for half a day or a day and what do you want me to do? Well, sit there, let me figure this out. So you have those customers, those are really nice. You got to take care of them, guys. Let me underline this. Figure out your operating costs. Figure out what it costs you to run your truck. Insurance, fuel, all that. Insurance companies are very greedy. What the heck was that? When I got into the Hotshot business, I was paying $450, $500 for insurance. And now I'm paying through the roof because they're seeing how far out I'm going and whatnot. It's just stupid. Anywho's, on average about 6-7 bills for insurance. That's ridiculous, and that's just liability. There's no physical in there. That is for $1 million. No, that is for $1 million. Anyway, so back to the point of how to get into Hotshot with a lot of money and patience. As I was saying, it's profitable, but it's very inconsistent. You can make a month's worth of income within 4 or 5 days working of that month. So what do? Rest for the rest of the month? No, you keep working because, one day you could do 300 miles and profit $300. Next day you could do 300 miles and profit $1,000. And then the third day you do 300 miles and you're lucky to scrape $100 out of the deal and, profit. I'm talking about profit, guys, not gross. And that's what's up. That's just how it is. And you can't get around that in any way, shape, or form. So anyways, guys, what else are you guys gonna ask? Go around, talk to people, as far as your business goes. Networking is probably the biggest thing. Don't be greedy. Don't try to jack people's customers and crap like that. It'll only bite you back. take care of people, take care of brokers, customers, and be respectful to yourself. And what I mean is, don't let them abuse you. Don't be a little hard-headed. Don't be hard-headed, but don't let them abuse you. I had a customer. Well, still got the guy, but it's different now. I'd treat him like a customer. I'd treat him like respect, and then he would give me like these oddball phone calls, and then you get out of your way. I mean, you do everything to make it happen. You call him back. He's like, oh, well, I had you on the back burner. Oh, air plan B, It's like, what the frick, dude? What's all this crap about, So now when he calls, it's like, yeah, I got a truck. No, I'm a truck. You don't go the extra mile because it's pointless. The guy doesn't care for you. You're there, great. You're not. He just doesn't value you as others do. Like I said earlier, guys, gals request us specifically. Anyways, financially, you gotta have money. You can't get into this business because you're gonna be making bank. You're not. Let me make it simple to you. You're not gonna make jack, okay? Come in with that mentality. And why the heck are you doing this? Because you love it so much. That's why I got into it. Trying to fill in some gaps and make good use of my time. As I said, some days you make pocket change, other days you make decent money. But don't count on it. For the first year as a bare minimum, don't count on that money. So what I'm trying to say is Hotshot is not the best business to get into as far as consistency. If you're young and you got a bunch of bills, you're out of luck, buddy. Stay out of there. Keep yourself on a steady paycheck or a steady job. Hotshot, I'm not going to say you're not going to make it, but if you got bills and you're broke, meaning you got nothing in reserve, you're just not going to make it. That's the reality, Going into the business, I'm not saying you need to have a paid off truck. I highly advise you to have a paid off truck, as a bare minimum, paid off trailer. Get into it with money and plan on hopefully making something end of the first year. And as you progress, people are going to get to know you. You'll make money. It's just you got to be smart about it. Now, maintenance, it's really expensive. It's really inconvenient. What I mean inconvenient is you go for an oil change, they kill half a day. Yeah, you could go to these Fuji Hoobie Lubes and a bunch of knockoff places. I had bad experience with them. I'm not saying they're crap. I'm just saying, to me, they're a joke because I had bad experience. And it's sad the way humans are. People could do so much good for us, and then one bad thing, and you cross them out. But when it almost costs you your engine, you're just like, forget you guys. And it was so simple. They forgot to put pretty much the fill cap. I just call it a valve cover cap. Where you fill your oil, they just left it somewhere. I couldn't find it. When I did open my engine bay, everything was in oil. It's a long story. Make it short, they're a joke. So I do my own maintenance. Luckily, I have a shop and I have a place to do it. I do my own maintenance. I take care of my own stuff. Maintenance. I've covered finances and I've covered maintenance. Maintenance is going to be a big one. Because the trailers that I used, they were never intended to be day in and day out, On average, I rebuild a trailer every 9 months. Every 9 months, we rebuild trailers. The whole suspension gets rebuilt. Brakes get rebuilt, meaning, magnets, brake shoes. I'd probably say every second time you gotta throw on new drums. It adds up, if you're thinking you're gonna get into this business, who cares, a little trailer, not big of a deal. Oh, it's a huge deal, especially when you're when you're paying, to rebuild a trailer. It's a few $100. I don't even know what a company would charge you to do it. I know it cost me a few $100 just in parts. I'm talking about suspension, and then you got brakes. That's a few $100. Well, what I mean by few is $300-400, and that's deep discounted stuff because I buy so much parts from this trailer dealer for my big rigs. An average Joe, let me tell you this. An average Joe walks in, buys Dexter. For example, I got Dexter axles. I like to use their parts for the brake shoes and whatnot. So Dexter brake shoes are about $80-90 for the backing, meaning the back plate, the electrical, the magnet, whatever, and the shoes, they're all assembled. 80, 90 bucks is average Joe, what he's going to pay for it, I think I could get away with 50, something like that, and that's a big deal, when you're doing 4 of them already, you're saving 30, 40 bucks a shoe. You do the math, 50 times 4, that's a couple $100 versus, 8 times 4 is 32, or you got, I think 80 bucks is what you're going to pay for it. If you haggle with them a little bit in your average Joe. You got a couple hundred, and then you got 320. That's 120. That's 120 bucks. A guy like me could go buy himself coffee and a couple more shoes. So that's an example for you. Maintenance. And get better, get a shoe one. So financially, I cover that. Maintenance, paperwork, guys. DOT doesn't screw around. They'll get you for everything they can. Like, I'm getting audited in 3 days. They can come through my office, check all the logbooks and whatnot. And it's thanks to some of my drivers. They did a phenomenal job on their roadside inspections, and so they're coming and auditing me. But it's part of the deal, do your job. No one's gonna be really bugging you, and of course it's my fault. I wasn't hard enough on my training. I wasn't hard enough on my guys when they're screwing up. It's just this one guy, man. He's a good guy. He really is, but I'm not gonna call him any names. He just does 100 miles an hour. Tries his best, and it's like, dude, you can't corner 100 miles an hour in every single turn. Sometimes you gotta slow the frick down and take that turn normally. Just that concept doesn't click with him. Anyways, I'm not going to talk trash about people. He tries his best, but he just doesn't understand a few things in life that he can't go around. So drivers will get you in trouble if you're just thinking a one-man thing. You can do it, But if you're planning on a one-man thing, I almost want to say just sign up with someone. It's hard, at least around where I'm from. It's really hard to get a company to load you, as far as Hotshot goes. No one really wants to deal with it. Like, even myself, this one guy with the only guy in my company with his own truck he got married, bought a house, put all his money into his truck trailer, whatever, and then went working for my buddy. And my buddy decides that it ain't worth it for him, so he didn't want to throw him to the curb. I've had quite a few requests for people to come on with me, and I'm just like, guys, it's just not worth it for me. I feel bad charging them more than I am already charging them. Charge somebody as bare minimum. So I took on this guy, and he's doing good. I told him, bro, I'm doing this out of respect to your family and your situation. He got married shortly after I got married, and it's hard, when you got married and you put all your money into something and then it fails on you. I'm like, I don't want to see you crash and burn, but do me a favor. Don't become a problem. I got no problem. I'll keep you loaded. You'll run as much as you want to, but just don't become a problem, man. The guy doesn't need much money, but as anyone, but he needs money, He's a little bit on the picky side. Doesn't want to go far. Doesn't want to doesn't want to overwork himself. Wants to stay around town. And makes it work somehow, Doesn't make the money that he could have, but it makes it work for him, and he's happy. And I guess, guys, that's the bottom line of life, Make sure whatever you're doing, you're happy, Like, I'm not happy right now. I'm getting audited, but after that, I'll be happy. So what else could I tell you guys? I hope I'm not boring you. I'm just doing my best. It's a very unprofessional video, but I'm just, just good old homemade video, and just do my best to explain to you guys what you need. I guess just ask away. I'll do my best to answer all you guys' questions. Alright, you guys have a mighty fine day, and hope I helped you guys one way or another. Hey guys, I forgot to mention something. Very important one for a lot of people is the equipment. What kind of equipment do you buy? Well, if you're doing 26 and under, there's no point to go dually front or rear, meaning, either your pickup truck or your trailer. It's just waste of money and drag. More maintenance. It's just stupid. Don't buy a dually. Do not buy a dually. I'm gonna tell you again. Do not buy a dually. If you're doing 26 and under, buy a gooseneck trailer. Don't do bumper pull. Bumper pull, or you can go dually and buy a bumper pull, but that's just stupid. Just stick to gooseneck. Truck ride's a lot better. It's a lot safer in the winter. It's just a win-win situation. Well, what if I want to throw something in the back here of my pickup? Great. Put a flatbed pickup, flatbed on your pickup. For that safety and that comfort, I will never trade my pickup bed just in case sometimes I might want to haul something. There's times you could have put something on there, but there's a lot more times I would have wrecked if I had a bumper pull. I've hauled bumper pulls before. I hate them, and I hate them with a passion, because they once you get heavier, they're just a recipe for a disaster. You're just not going to get too far without having an accident here and there. And I'm not trying to be too negative about it. I'm just too many close calls with bumper pulls, and it's just stupid stuff. So a 14 Gen trailer, don't go any shorter than 30 feet, and don't go any longer than 36. I personally think 36 is a little too long, but there are some cases where 36 works really nice. And here they are. When you can't haul freight, cars pay crap, but you can haul cars, and you still make something. And just sitting there and not making a dime. That's the only reason I say 36. Optimal would be 30 to 33 feet. That's optimal, but 36 is always nice, and I told you already why. Also 36 is nice when you got to do plastic pipe. They're 40 footers, and nobody cares if 40-foot pipe hangs over. At least in the state of Washington, as long as 5 feet. It's under 5 feet, you don't need any permits or anything like that. And then truck, just a single real wheel, guys. I own a lot of Cummins K, and I believe I'm a fair guy. That's why I have one Power Stroke. Well, it's a Power Joker. I got the best Power Joker you could get. 6-speed manual, 7.3. But in my books, it's not the truck you could just go with. They are wonderful engines. It's everything around the engine. You can say that about a Dodge as far as body goes. That's fine. You see something rusting, it's rusting. It doesn't happen overnight. It doesn't happen instantly. Ford has way too much wiring under the hood. Common sense. The more clamps, the more hoses, the more wiring, the more crap you're going to have to deal with. This is the reason why I stick with Cummins. Cummins has the least crap under the hood to go south on you. A hose clamp can put you out. A hose can put you out. Stupid wiring on a 7.3's gotten us in trouble. It's just the design of. I'm disgusted by the design. As far as whatever. I'll quit bashing on things. So I'm a fair guy. If you like your Ford, go for it. If you got your Duramax, go for it. Duramax, I believe, is going to be your best bet as far as ride quality, but whatever. I'm not getting into that. Sorry, guys. Pick your truck. Make sure it's single. Long bed or short bed. I was really a stickler about the long bed, but I'm not really. Can't even say it anymore. If you're going to put an auxiliary tank in your bed, yeah, you need that long bed, because if you put a tank into a short bed, you're in deep crap. So highly preferable. I used to say you gotta have a long bed. You can probably get around it now that I'm looking at it. If you don't do too much long haul, like for example, this truck has a 55 or a 60 gallon tank, and that's not from the factory. I dropped the factory tank and I put a tank in here. So if you're doing like local stuff, like 500 mile radius from where you live, and that's what you want to do, hey, get a short bed and get your huge tank underneath, and you'll be fine. But I don't know if everyone ever hauled with a pickup truck. When you're getting 10 miles to the gallon, you got 30 gallons to work with. Well, you don't drain your tank to 300. You fuel up at 220, 250 consistently, and it gets annoying. It gets annoying real quick, so figure that out. Two-wheel drive or 4x4, because of the area that I live in and because we run all the time, I say 4x4 is a must. But, I got the truck. We named him Gramps. We run him pretty much March through November. Push comes to shove or whatever. And then you got December, January, February, just sits there parked. Unless there's a real urgency and we really need to use it. And weather permits it, but it's very risky, because we're surrounded by passes. You can't go too far without getting into the pass, even though it might be sunny and warm down in Spokane. By the time you make it to the pass, it's snowing and you're stuck. So depends where you live, and if you're going to run all year, that's going to determine. So if you determine that you don't need a 4x4, stay away from it. Your truck's going to be lighter. You could load more, less things to maintain. So yeah, guys, that's about it for now. If I think of something, I'll add it. Alright, guys, have a good one. Bye.